Um, like I said, Terrence McKenna. I got obsessed with Terrence McKenna. Then from there, I found like Bobby Hemmett, Phil Valentine, Red Pill, Blue Pill, A. Rashid, Black Magic, and these other guys. You know, Terrence McKenna, he died. I think it was 2000.
Raise the fuck up on my face.
Oh, Terrence I'm sorry, Terrence. He died. He passed away.
Yep.
Back into the ancestor bro.
Yep. He had a crazy, like, the rarest form of brain cancer. I think that just the psychedelics gods just wanted him. They were like, you're giving up too many secrets. But yeah, like, so to see Bobby Hemmett and Phil, I really got into Phil Valentine. Like, his lectures are just not only are they informative and they're so heavy in bars and metaphysics, he's hilarious. Like the way that he projects it's just fun. It just became like the only thing I wanted to watch. And then from there I started watching and I realized that these guys were having lectures in New York. And shout out to Knicks. Shout out to Eddie Deuce. I went to New York I was living in Tampa up until 2015, and then I went to New York in 2015, and I was staying there, and that's when I hooked up with Red Pill. I did the album with him, Scorpion King. Prior to that, I hooked up with A. Rashid. He's the one who really put me on to the Kabbalah and Hebrew. Him and Kepera. And from there, like, I just was getting connected. I was making music, so they were passing my music through. And then Black Magic heard my music, and he actually made beats. And that's Brother Rich. And me and him started doing music. So from there, it was like I started connecting with everybody, and then it kind of, I just became like, I guess my music was really received in what was considered the Black consciousness realm. And then from there I hooked up with Loaded Lux because he was also obviously into the knowledge, and he was, crossing the same path I was. It's like when you're on a similar path, you meet the same ascended masters. It's like almost like the Wizard of Oz or the story of the alchemist, to where along your journey you meet certain, it's like karate, martial arts, kung fu masters along the way, and you gain certain attributes along the journey.
That's exactly how I felt, man, because I was already getting into some deep knowledge back in 2008, right? Into astrology, numerology, following all these deep people. I was going to be, my friends thought I was crazy. Next thing you know, the universe puts Killer Priest in front of me. Like, of all rappers for me to work with, you know what I mean? There was like a lot of other rappers I could have worked with, but for him to come along, it seemed so perfect. Because he was spitting knowledge that I was like already on the same like line of frequency I was trying to go for. You know what I mean? It was too perfect to the point where I'm like, dude, there's something up with synchronicity. I didn't even know synchronicity.
It's like when you pick your path, it comes with like it's almost like you're picking the stages in the video game, and that one has the certain, so once you pick your path, you're gonna meet these people as you ascend. You're gonna meet the people that are also on that path. And we're all on the same trail. We all pick that trail to go on. So as we're hiking up, we're gonna meet up with these people. Like, oh shit, you're going to there too. Like,
that's how it happens divinely. Like,
stay out of my personal space.
Sometimes the path picks you. And you're just a part of it. The game picks you. It's all, man. This is heavy. Man, yo, you going in. I don't want to stop you because you said you could build, and you unraveling, and a lot of things.
Oh yeah, no, the ball of string is long. Like, I go, whatever you want to do, man. Whatever you want to do, man.
Exactly. We got a couple of more super chats.
Yeah, we do actually. Let me check here.
My agent would have killed you.
Shout out to Marco Buller. He said he loving it. Stringer said, when you hammer, I heard somebody say something that was dope. Oh, Red Sun is back in the building. Shout out to Red Sun. Haven't heard from that brother in a minute. Glad you're back and healthy. Charlie's made up of Santa Claus. Not that one.
Okay, you ready? Oh, you've got let's see.
Right above David Flores, because that took a.
Godfather says, have you ever tried embalming fluid before?
No.
I mean, he's talking about
angel dust.
Yeah, angel dust, PCP.
Yeah.
I've heard different explanations on the streets. It seems to be very destructive and toxic. But I've seen certain documentaries where, you know, people like John C. Lilly, or there's the other guy who found out that the sand dollars were like these memory cards that dolphins would make with their echoes, and they would make like these sound cards, and it would be like, so I believe that all substances
Watch it. I'm having a bad day.
that are able to allow you to reach some kind of you know, psychedelic or, you know, state.
Excuse you, dog.
There's a lot of them, but I believe that you don't have to do the destructive ones to get there. But under like strict lab supervision, you know, could I see it being? Because I guess every psychoactive substance has its own unique signature. So there's things that you probably can only see on, you know, embalming fluid that you can't see on anything else. Kind of like when you go on the ketamine K-hole, you know. But I would say that whatever that is hasn't proved to be profound enough for me to attempt to do that.
That's right, brother. You said it right.
I go slowly, even with mushrooms. Even though mushrooms is probably the most naturally ingested psychedelic there is, even more than marijuana, because marijuana, you have to have a process. You have to burn it, you know, to smoke it, or you have to convert it to eat it. Where mushrooms, you can just pick it right up off the ground and eat it, and it works, and you don't die. So it's like, oh, okay, like this is even more symbiotic with us because I don't have to change its, you know, chemical structure to ingest it. So, but yeah, things like PCP, I'm sure there's a lot of things that can, you know, scramble your brain and make you see crazy shit. But I would say that. Yeah.
Laboratory. It was a laboratory. They take it to their own plant.
Even LSD is like, sometimes I'll do it and I'll feel like I'll like start to see, and I can always notice when it happens. Like I'll do LSD and all of a sudden I can see my skin breathing, and then I get like this creepy feeling on me, like I get these chills and my heart starts beating fast, and like and I always feel like maybe I can get a heart attack on that if
the anxiety comes up.
Yeah, once that anxiety comes
up. Have you done it?
No, but I know the feeling from sativa.
Yeah.
Love another 187.
Are you talking about acid?
Yeah. Hey, D be coming in like you, and these dreams we got to deal with. AD, these dreams, and one day we're gonna touch on it because it seems like you be leaving the planet and stuff like that, and it kind of is it worrying you when you leave the planet?
No, because I'm used to it now. I'm used to it now. He's talking about the out of body experiences.
Yeah, he's been having a lot.
Yeah, just like 3 or 4 a week. Wow. Just 3 or 4 a week, but like I noticed a pattern. Like I wake up because my cat wakes me up. Then I go back to sleep, and then I'm halfway awake and halfway asleep, and it's right there. Because you mentioned this also, when you're like a little bit awake, a little bit asleep, you're at that midpoint where your body's tired enough to fall asleep, but your mind is still active. Well, I don't know how to explain it, but I feel this falling feeling, like I'm falling through the bed. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And right there, that's where I can feel the choice comes. Like, do you want this to happen, or do you want to fall? And you brought this up when you were talking about, willingly.
But you're not doing anything.
Drowning. No, but I can feel the choice to where I can wake myself up and stop this, or I can just let this happen. So I let it happen. I let the fall happen. I let the drown happen, like he mentioned. Good. And once you just let go and be like, okay, here we go. In the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, it's happening again. Here we go. And you fall deeper and deeper and deeper into this, it feels like you're falling through the bed. I no longer feel my body, but the body starts to vibrate. Yeah? It feels like your body's vibrating because you're not using it at all. You're completely just gone, you know? But it feels so great.
What was that?
It feels amazing. Go ahead.
What was that? Was that you? What experience from drugs were you doing when you did?
No, nothing.
There was no psychedelics.
No,
so this is natural.
Yeah, this is actually when I took a break from weed. I feel like weed can sometimes hinder you from having dreams, but if you take a break from weed a little bit, I feel like the mind has a little bit more freedom The only thing I was doing was I increased my vitamin D3 and K2.
You want a beating?
So
anyway,
this is happening every time you go to sleep, right?
Not every time. It happened like 3 or 4 times a week.
Okay. Maybe your channel, I don't know, you can probably help him out. He's smoking weed.
There's a lot of floating.
You need this because we talk about this a lot. You every time you talk about
but this has happened when I wasn't smoking weed.
Right.
Yeah.
That's weird. You know what I'm saying? You just going. No, I'm not saying that's weird, but you going there every other night. You can.
Yeah.
And it's concerned because
starting getting used to it.
With Gano, you keep every time we build, you keep telling us that you keep floating away.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a floating feeling. You know that floating feeling.
Okay.
You're weightless.
Yeah. What's going on? What's going on with this brother? Can we bring him back or control his Skype?
How rude!
It's a silver cord.
No, I want you to feel right because it made you nervous at first, right?
Of course, in the beginning, because you're not sure what's going on here, what's happening, and then once you get used to having these, it's a beautiful experience, and you want it. You look forward to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's blissful.
All right, go ahead.
It's straight up blissful.
Okay.
It's an amazing experience.
I
God,
definitely
it's
know
not like it's
exactly what
slammed
you're
in
talking
here.
about. As best as I know, maybe I don't. But from my personal experience, if you are a marijuana smoker, it's almost like your whatever your serotonin or your dopamine receptors are when you smoke marijuana. It's almost like you're using up a little bit of your gas in your waking state. So that way, when you're dreaming, you're low on your dopamine and serotonin supply, so your dreams aren't as vivid. Also, your body is detoxifying itself from the THC, which is directly correlated with the mind.
Now I'm gonna have to get another pedicure.
Yeah, like and then when you get off of marijuana and you're going through like that cold turkey
now I'm gonna have to get another pedicure.
Your brain is literally rebuilding its serotonin and dopamine receptors.
Yep.
So you feel your dreams getting way more vivid. And also one of the biggest things is if you go to sleep on an empty stomach, when you go to sleep, are you fasting? So,
yeah, well, I'm in a caloric deficit because like I said earlier, like I track macros. I'm interested in like how much protein do I really need, how much fat do I need for hormonal for hormones, and I experimented with carbs and stuff like that. Anyway, long story short, I'm kind of going right below my maintenance levels. You know what I mean? So I know I'm in a deficit sometimes, but I do wake up, kind of hungry. So I know I'm a little bit fasted.
So that's one of the number one ways to incite astral projection is to go to sleep on an empty stomach. Why? Because all of your digestive process blocks your body's energy to just spiritually detach.
Yeah.
You're constantly attached to your body because it's actively digesting
I'm totally
while you're
spitting
sleeping.
in your drink.
So it hinders your ability to rest. You're not resting because your body's digesting something. So when you go to bed on an empty stomach, your body's able to actually be calm and light. So that's why you keep lifting, because you're literally light. It's like you don't have anything blocking your body's ability to just process mental imagery. Like any brain process takes a large amount of energy. Now, of course, when you're sleeping, it's a lot less. So if you do like a scan of your brain while you're sleeping, it's a lot less activity.
Don't be touching
awake.
me, fool.
But it's also a different part of your brain, and it's able to just focus on that. But if your body's full and it's detoxifying from weed smoke, and
you push me, you wanna
detoxifying from whatever you ate right before you went to bed, you're not gonna have those astral projections. And honestly, I think a lot of people eat before they go to bed to avoid that. I think that when some people start to feel that happening, it's like that's why one of the ways to incite God, like out of body experiences, are like if you wanted to, you'll go on a fast. Like religions usually put you on a fast because that's the easiest way for you to trip balls, like basically get to the psychedelic state without taking anything, because now your body is reduced to just the process of your spirit and mind.
Back
you don't
off,
have anything
asshole.
blocking you because you're not digesting. Like we constantly have shit in us.
You know, our bodies are constantly fighting off shit.
Hey, watch it.
So to be clear-minded is very hard when but if you're light, you have, you know, no food in your stomach. That's why you're dreaming like that. You know what I mean? For 100%. I bet you, like tonight, if you eat a bowl of lasagna and then go to sleep, you'll have itis. You'll sleep like a fucking rock.
Yeah, but there'll be no dreams happening. Yeah, and it's always in the morning. You know what I mean? I feel like the morning you're more digested. But yeah, I did notice that. I did mess around with that.
You dreaming in the morning?
It's always in the morning. I never really dream at night going to sleep. It's always like in the last 2 hours of waking up.
Well, that's the last time you remember it. You
True.
know, but
that's weird that he remembers that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You remember the time.
Yeah.
That is getting
so every 90 minutes is a different cycle of the 5 stages of sleep.
Yeah.
So I think you start dreaming once you hit REM and like that 4th, 5th stage. So you're going through multiple cycles of dreaming, and your most recent one is obviously going to be the one you remember most, which is the one you would remember upon waking up. And essentially, like, also the sun plays a role in it for sure. That's why I said daytime napping seems to be like insane astral projections for me when that sun's out. The moon has a more, I would say, subtle energy to it when it comes to the internal visuals.
Yeah.
It's more abstract. The sun, that's why they call them the moon is more obscure and more abstract visuals, to where sun visuals are more linear. They make more sense. There's more substance.
Kambada, you're kind of I don't say shamanic. You know what I mean? You
shamanistic.
Yeah, you're shamanistic, shamanic. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man.
I just I don't
tap into it more, man. Don't run from it. You know what I'm saying? I think
I'm just obsessed with trying to figure out what's going on, and I've just developed my language to be able to try to talk to people about it. Like, you know, I understand to a certain degree what's happening. It's just that sometimes we don't have the words to explain what's going on. So it becomes very difficult. So we just give up on it. And then, of course, like I said,
out of my way, man.
Experiencing these dreams, and you're telling people about it. What's the difference between you just making up something? I could be like right now, hey man, last night I had a dream that Donald Trump and Bill, George Bush had, I had this, that, and that. I could make up anything. So what is the value of a dream if it doesn't have any? If everybody has them every night, they're always random. It's like, what's the difference between that and me just making up a story?
You got a problem?
I mean? But there is a difference. That's the thing. This is a magical, insane happening that we all are basically hallucinating without drugs every single night, and everybody just skips past it like it's, people are questioning metaphysics, questioning God, questioning spirit, questioning magic, questioning all the shit, but yet everybody dreams every night.
It's a complete contradiction. The fact that we can dream and see all of this shit in our head. Like, okay, yeah, you can justify the light outside because there's a sun, but how do you justify the light in your head? Is that where's your mind? Like, everybody has, like, the brain. What's going on? What are these animals? So it's like
stories in the search. Stories in the search, man. As you go on, and you searching. This for everybody that's out in the craft room too. As you go on. Your story is written in the search, like you said. We quest, and that's where the story is created at. That's the great part. You know what I'm saying? Not just the destination, but as you travel on, it all is in the search, the quest. That's when you create the book, and that's why everyone tells you the finishing of the book, but it's actually about creating the book. That's in more incredible.
Raise up, little
bitch. The story is in those guidelines. I think we all being enlightened right now. Another level of just opening up our pineal to this. You know what I'm saying? We got to save AD from floating away. Get some clarity. Everything got to some point. You know what I'm saying?
No, I love it.
Yeah, exactly. Man, this is.
That's what it is, man. You got that light body. That's why the monks, the Buddhists, all of those guys is like fasting. Imagine fasting. Imagine what your dreams would be after 40 days of fasting. First of all, you don't even need to sleep as much because if your body doesn't have anything to digest, it doesn't have to sleep as much. That's why babies go through like 15-minute sleep cycles. Why do you need to sleep? Your body's not doing it.
Yeah, all he had was applesauce.
Yeah. So the more the less the more empty you are, the more of an empty vessel you are, the less processes that are happening, the more open you are to still entering. It's not because you're, Come on, Christ. It's because you've gotten light. You become that, that's what that means. That's a process. And you know the magic of it is that this process happens naturally. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do it now. Whoever the architect is, made it so that your body naturally atrophies with age. Your libido dies down.
That's
your
fuck you up.
Your body slows down. You start to forget certain things. All purposely done so that way you can make it easier transition. You'll notice old people don't eat as much. They don't sleep as much. They start to forget things. That makes death easier. When you see the many old people getting dementia and with
can't beat me, Mark.
And it's really, sometimes it's terrible. Sometimes it's really attached to some psychological things. So I'm not a medical person to talk on it. But just from light observation, let's just take it with a grain of sand. It seems like these processes that end up happening make have a light and when you're progressively forgetting, by the time you're on death's bed, you have no worry. You're not. Imagine if you remember all of your 90 grandkids. You'd be like, how's
good night,
Charles?
motherfucker.
How's Frankie? How you'd be worried? Did Sarah get married? You'd be on your deathbed worried. If everybody that comes in, you're just like happy. You just see a human.
MySpace.
When you go to let go of that body, it's like it's like butter on toast. And obviously we're all scared of death because
let's do this.
It's the unknown. But I would say even just a couple years of human experience here is a blessing. You know what I mean? Like everything that you can get out of this, even if you have a barely functioning body, you can open your eyes and see the wonder of God. It's like, okay, even if we get a lot of life. We get a lot of chances every day. That sun's coming up. And a lot of us take it for granted, But even there's people with 25 years of life that in that 25 years have lived more and seen more than some people with 99 years of life. So it's all how you spend it, But yeah, that's something that also comes from psychedelics, is removing the fear of death. Because you realize,
I'm gonna make you wash my drawers.
This is just some kind of seamless transition. Pain is remembered. It's a process. It doesn't matter how you died or how painful the death is. If you're dead, you don't remember the pain to feel the pain.
You want to fight?
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, okay,
Nice.
Explain yeah, that's beautiful. Explain consciousness. Yeah, I got a twofold question because, you kind of did that right now. You said something about dementia, being a process.
Hey, mind the clothes.
To leaving the earth, right? Is that the process of?
That's why it's called dementia. It's your process of shifting dimensions. And your memories and your physical ties are all attached to your physical hardware here.
Yo, you better back off.
That's why some people, when they're in a manic, insane state, or you're on psychedelics, you might forget your name, you might forget your whole family.
Looking to get beat down, chump.
Consciousness is a pure force. It's kind of like they said, the internet or the Wi-Fi. It's
won't get an autograph like that
all living creatures are able to access. It's just their bodies.
You trying to get fresh?
How complex it's translated. So you'll see a bird, because of the form of the bird,
this consciousness that's coming through gets expressed like this. And the way that humans are, the way that we are in a humanoid form, we get this form of complex.
Yeah, let's go head up.
Get out of the way.
But it's the same force. It's like we said, it's like it could literally be as simple as light.
I smell la mota, don't you?
You know, and our bodies are all receiving the same light. Plants, animals, but the vessel is what determines on how complex it will be expressed, and it will be expressed in all ways. Hey. So like the force of God is to be expressed in all possible manners.
You know who I am?
And it does that, and then these humans, these ultra creative humans, are able to actually manipulate Earth. So we're like the demigods or the little gods. We're like the God fractals. It's like God shattered himself and became 7 billion.
You
humans.
Asking for a fool?
Or I remember I made up this this little saying that I would say. It's like I would say like consciousness are all human beings. It's like God picked up a mirror, and that mirror is all consciousness.
I'll break your neck.
And
say that again.
It's like God has a mirror. He's holding a mirror, and this mirror in its solid form holds the solid form of God. This is the mirror when it's intact is
you
God.
You want to die, little bitch.
But upon God realizing himself, in astonishment, he drops the mirror, and those fractal pieces of the mirror are humans.
That's beautiful.
And all eternity is us putting back the pieces of the mirror again, for God to pick the mirror up again, see
out of
himself,
my way,
become astonished, drop the mirror again,
VLA putos,
and then
are wild tight.
Stop touching a fractal, a shard.
Oh, I love this shit.
Of God. And that essentially, each piece is unique because everything is accounted for from the past, the present, the future.
Gangsta.
Like I said, if it's a pattern, you don't have to get the whole pattern to assume where it's going to go. Just like with me to you, everybody has their unique signature on Earth.
Ooh, sweet liquor.
Every combination is going to be made. Every combination will be made, whether good or bad.
Let's see what you got.
Remind me of that scene in Superman when they was trapped inside this. The old school Superman when they was trapped inside that mirror. The mirror. Yeah. Coming from space.
Yeah. That mirror a lot. Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, I love
Doctor
this.
Doctor Strange, the mirror realm. Right? Yeah. He uses it too. Harry Potter, yep.
I'm a muscle Sadicus, homie.
I mean, when you do psychedelics and you look in the mirror, you will get entranced. Looking into your own eyes.
Chale, puto. Watch it.
Like that used to happen to me as a kid. I would get the realization who I am. I'd be like, I'd look in the mirror and then one day I'd be like, oh,
sweet liquor.
Like I'm me. And I'd be like, oh my God, like what the fuck?
I kick
this?
your
like,
ass, man.
I have that experience. Like we're used to this, but this is hyper. I don't know how I can say it's hyper strange or even refer to myself unless I'm something else. It's like for us to realize we're this would mean that we're something else. Just by the mere fact, it's just the fact that I can refer to myself. Just like, oh, okay, like, oh, I'm this.
Get it back.
This is me. Like, what? I have to learn how to be here. Like, what? Like, that obviously points to the fact that we're transmitting from something else.
But the vampire could never see itself in the mirror. In the mirror, reflection.
Right? Hey,
and
you're looking half dead, huh?
Because they say that the vampires don't have a spirit. You know what I'm saying? In the folklore, that's why when they look in the mirror, they don't see a reflection of themselves. Remember I was saying last week about the black mirror where sometimes the Sufis do this. They make you stand in front of a mirror and they'll tell you that that's not really you that you're looking through the mirrr, but it's really a reflection of something different.
Don't touch me.
Like just like what Cambada was just saying. Then they got the black mirror though too. That's the one. You ever see that? You know about that one? That's a pretty deep one. That's
this.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Love number 187.
Mirror image. Didn't somebody? I think it was a fairy tale where somebody looked into the mirror. It was, I don't know if it was a dark mirror. Was it Sleeping Beauty? Somebody tried to stare into the mirror and they would go, mirror,
mirror on the wall.
Snow White.
That was Snow White.
Snow White, yeah.
That's right.
Also, if you've seen the Phantom of the Opera, the Phantom comes out through the mirror.
You wanna fight?
Yo, I gotta piss, man. I've had to piss for like an hour. I'll be
Hey,
right
go
back.
for it. Go for it.
That's crazy with the mirrors when you
wanna
stare
die,
at
little bitch.
what's the scary flick? Because like a television is like a mirror also.
Yeah.
Because when the girl came through.
You after something?
What was that?
The Ring.
The Ring. Yeah.
What was that? The
Ring.
The Ring. Yes. Yep. The Ring. Yeah. No, I remember that. And remember back? I was telling y'all too.
Lucha, where you at,
Constantine. Remember that one scene? Where Keanu Reeves, he had to trap the demon, but he used the mirror to do it. Yeah. And they use mirrors still to this day in like Nigeria and various parts of the world to trap demons, and they use it as a form of like trying to trap the demon or just casting the demon out.
And in the Matrix,
You got a problem,
too.
fool?
Go through a mirror.
Oh yeah. When he
Yep.
go ahead.
And doesn't Candyman use the mirror?
Oh yeah,
Candyman, yep.
3
dude,
times.
that shit's old school.
You know who I am?
It's your reflection is probably like dimensional because you can see you have a sort of mirror, the house of mirrors, where they have that in the fun house in the carnival.
Yeah.
You walk through the room full of mirrors.
Yeah, I remember that.
But there's some mirrors that even if you put it behind you and you could go on the one in front, it's like super dimensional, like it never stops. It never stops. What do you say?
Yeah. No,
What do you say
that
about
mirror,
that?
man, it's the mirror, it's the ore. There you go with that ore again. But
Mirror ore. Yes, mirror
yeah.
ore.
Hey, you look out.
it is. It's or is the me roar? Is the roar from roar is like. But no, it's there's so. Even in magic, like that's why
You push me,
I
you wanna
remember I
die?
watched this video. I don't even know if it's still on YouTube. And this guy was like, "This is how you do real black magic." And he was talking about creating a black
Oh, I
magic.
love
You take
this
like
city.
a sheet of carbon
Pardon
paper,
me.
black carbon paper,
Yep.
and you put a piece of glass over that.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're mixing the glass with the carbon and the reflection
watch
of the
it.
light, and then you have the fire represents fire is a physical to spirit transition. That's why
Playing with me?
you
Stop
know
playing.
you're able like it can get rid of all evidence of physicality and turn it to just carbon matter because it's burning the physical but it's releasing the spirit. And then so generally when you're doing magic you have all elements there. You have maybe wine or spirits. But the process of magic, I believe, is to convince yourself.
Orale, human sacrifice time.
When you're doing magic, you know what's real or not. You can't convince yourself of your own lies because you know the truth. So the object of magic is to create enough correlation,
not
justifiable
this shit again.
correlation in steps to where you can believe it yourself. This is where the self mantra, the personal mantra, the spell, the incantation, you going into that zone, saying it, and then you're connecting your blood to it, you're connecting your hair to it. You made a sacrifice, you killed something, you did something that affected your soul, you released something. And these rituals convince you as the projector of your reality, you're the only one that you need to convince. It's kind of like Kanye West. See, Kanye West, you could say he's delusional, but somehow everything that he projects happens. He's a billionaire, he's the king of this, he's the king of me. He might not be the most talented human on earth, he might not be the genius he thinks he is, but you can't tell him he isn't because his magic works. Every time he manifests something, it convinces him enough that it happens. And it might only appear to us as arrogance and confidence, but to the universe, it appears as this is what it is. So when you're that sure of yourself, or you're that sure of your magic and confidence in it, the path opens up because it's like, oh, okay, that's what it is. And you start to see in your life, you start to make those connections. But magic is not about poof and smoke and something just appearing out of nowhere. It is you're making a deep spiritual imprint on yourself. So that way
it then happens. So then when you're doing a spell on somebody, a lot of the times everybody goes through bad things. So somebody that's cursed, are you cursing them, or are you just now associating something bad happening to them with yourself? You would never know, you know. But with magic on yourself, that's where it's only confidence. Like, look at Soulja Boy. Soulja Boy is so sure of himself that everybody else just agrees with him. Yeah, you're the first rapper to do everything, man. Yeah. You know, it's kind of like if you in high school, there's always like the special ed kid, or like, you know, there's a kid who might be like, you know, I have a disability, and maybe he can Harlem Shake or he can dance good, or maybe he does some weird shit, and all the kids in class, they might be like, yo, little Stanley, do that little dance. And or like maybe he loves the basketball team. You've seen these videos, and there'll be, you know, a special handicapped kid that always loved the team, so they let him score a basket, and he sees the crowd and he's like, oh, man, I'm really a star. That's all it takes. Because in his mind, even though in reality we know he's not a basketball star, in his mind he saw his manifestation take place against all odds. It doesn't matter. You can have one arm, one leg. The magic works if you believe it. That's like the thing that's the secret. That's the thing. You know. That's all you have to do, essentially. And that's why the mirror is always involved in magic, because it literally, you're talking to yourself.
Mirror image. There was a Twilight Zone episode. I want to thank my junior high school. I was that kid. They let me score. Let you score 3 point. Yeah, let me score my baskets.
Priest, Stranger's asking you, when is Daymare dropping?
Huh?
Stranger's asking, when does Daymare drop?
Oh, you talking about horoscope? Horoscope, or just the song Daymare? Yeah, exactly. Very soon, man. Very soon. We putting some. We were just working on the redoing the cover, right, or something like that. Just doing little pieces to the work. That's it. All right.
Haba jokingly says, I must say this babbler is entertaining. He's saying that as a joke there. Fella B says, always a great show. Peace, Cam from Fella B, hipster, massive Australia.
Peace.
Australia in the building.
Macaria says, do you feel like you've channeled COVID-24?
Oh, my track. Yeah. I was telling Killer about that, man. Like, I did a track, and I released it on 8/24 of 2020. And basically, it's called COVID. It's COVID-24, and it's written with a K.
Oh, yeah, you told me COVID.
And I made the correlation between Kobe Bryant's death and coronavirus, but I used all the syllabic rhymes. Everything rhymed with either coronavirus or Kobe Bryant, which both sound very similar, especially when you're bending them in the midst of the rhyme. So for 10 minutes and 24 seconds, which 10 is 8 plus 2, which because his daughter Gigi was a 2, and then 24. But yeah, like as far as the channeling, that happened from the process. Like by me dissecting the word coronavirus and Kobe Bryant and the thoughts behind it had a trickle effect that enabled me. Like I ended up talking about MF Doom in there, and then MF Doom literally passed, rest in peace. And you know, I didn't know that, and then I was able to connect it to so many different things in correlation. You know, there's a Corona Italy. He was running. There's so many that I didn't even put in there. You know what I mean? That I found out after, and I'm like, so the 8, the 24, the coronavirus. He was yellow, and he was yellow and purple, which is the royal colors. The crown is gold, royal purple, crown royal. On the bottle of the crown royal is a crown. A Corona is a crown, and then Corona is gold, and then Corona Light, the beer, is also gold, which is the color of piss. R. Kelly, Contagious. He did Contagious. Coronavirus is Contagious, and you know Corona. I mean,
it's the son, you know, and I connected that to Daniel's son somehow. I connected that to then we talked about O.J. Simpson, you know what I mean? I talked about everything because obviously he had the gloves. I talked about everybody that had masks. Michael Jackson, he had the mask on. Hey, you know, Hamburglar, Zorro, all the people with the mask, MF Doom, the mask. We're talking about. So I'm able to go everywhere that has to do with Corona, bring it all together, and then make it all rhyme and correlate it, you know, chronologically as factually. There's obviously going to be comedic lines in there, hyperbole, just random conspiracy that I may not believe. I truly don't believe anything. You know, I take everything with a grain of salt. But yeah, it's definitely, that joint was a feat, I would say. It's one of those ones where it's like, oh, okay, god damn, you still.
I see you got a video that talks about the making of that song too.
Yeah. It was basically just what I just said, but
nice.
in a lot in another place.
Nice.
MCs out there, MCs all over the world, MCs that are looking and tuning in. Y'all got work to do. Y'all heard what Kambala just said? MCs got work to do. They got to open up their mind and challenge yourself to new ideas and new way to write. And yo, man, thank you for raising the bar. You know what I'm saying? A lot of cats, you know, it's funny because when you come, even with you, Flores, like what you do with your art and raising the bar, raising the consciousness. Like when you get into something, surface level is always good. It's cool. It's just a stepping stone to create the throne or castle. You know what I mean? Whatever you do, that's just the basic. But when you go dive deep into it, and you go into it, you raise the bar. You kind of like create the next step for the next generation on.
Excuse you.
Keep returning into that cycle where you're not really going anywhere. Right. Hamster wheeling, like you said.
Right.
And brothers like yourself, Kabata, you know what I'm saying, is raising. You don't understand. Raising the bar is somebody got to hurdle that. You know what I'm saying? Right. So you raise it up for the next generation to grow on. The other cats, no knock on everybody else that's just MCing just to just do it because they like it, but it's also an art. You know what I'm saying? You just don't get into it with drawing and engineering, AD. You know what I'm saying? Just to get into it, handling the thing. So, man, thank you for raising it for all of us to enjoy. And